And then for the tour tomorrow, cultural tour tomorrow at Intramuros, for those who have enlisted themselves, kindly confirm your enlistment, your attendance for the tour for tomorrow at the Secretariat also. We would like to thank the following sponsors for the conference. For the KohaCon sponsors, the BibLib, Gobi Library Solutions for EBSCO, Bywater Solutions, KohaCon sponsors, ScanBit Technologies and Services, Vibal Group, On-Strike Library Solutions, Tulong Aklatan, media sponsor, Manila Bulletin. Conference partners, Ayala Museum, Filipinas Heritage Library, Asian Institute of Management, UP School of Library Information Studies, the Department of Tourism, and Intramuros Administration. Just a quick reminder again, part of our itinerary for this afternoon is the tour at the Ayala Museum. May I remind everyone that photography is only allowed at the second floor. And we are expected to leave or deposit all bags before entering the galleries. The start of the tour is at 4th floor going down. So that's 4th floor, 3rd floor, and so forth. And lastly, present their ID badge to the security. It is important that all throughout this tour, all throughout the event, you have with you your IDs. Okay, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Are you still awake? Yes, of course. So I hope you appreciate all of the things that we have prepared for you this KohaCon conference day 2. So we are nearing the concluding topics for this day. Okay. So I guess we are ready for the next session. Our next speaker is affiliated with BibLib. He is from France. He will be talking about MANA, open source knowledge base for libraries. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, may I call on Mr. Paul Polaine.
It's okay here. Good afternoon, everyone. I just wanted to share something I just discovered from Filipina. In France, when you come from outside, you remove your sweatshirt because it is cold outside and hot inside. In Filipinas, when you're outside, you have no sweatshirt, and when you go inside, you put one. Fortunately, I came with one. So, let's speak of MANA now. No. Okay. I must point here, even if I want to change the image here. So let's introduce me. You know who I am. I am still coming from France, and I still work for Koha since a long time, etc., etc. A while ago, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, I started to think about the following question. There are many data that all libraries are sharing and, well, not sharing, are entering in their systems, and that are the same data everywhere. The most immediate example you could think of is cataloging. I don't know in the Philippines, but in France, in US, and many other countries, libraries don't do direct cataloging. They are just copy cataloging from an external source. Usually in France, we are using the BNF, which stands for Bibliothèque Nationale de France, which is a French national library. Academic libraries, universities, etc., they are copy cataloging from a national-wide catalog called SUDOC. Maybe you have heard of it. Yes, some of you, maybe. So you try to avoid duplicate cataloging and maybe just add some specific subjects, etc., that are specific to your very local library. Of course, you have to enter your holdings and your call numbers or specific call numbers, etc., etc. But most of the record, you get it from an external source. But in fact, there are also many other data that you could retrieve from somewhere else. For example, subscriptions information for serials. Who is using the serials module of Koha currently? Whoa. Either no one is listening me or no one is using it. So who is listening? Okay. So I repeat my question. Who is using the serials module in Koha? Almost no one? Whoa, surprising. Okay. So the serials module helps you to deal with printed serials to predicate when you are supposed to get an issue and keep track of issues you have not received and claim the issue to your vendor, etc., etc. But there are also many other data that you could get from another library, for example, report and statistics. In France, all academic libraries have every year, they must every year send some statistics to the government. Maybe you have this kind of thing in the Philippines. And all public libraries in France, they also have to send some reports, some statistical reports to the Ministry of Culture to say, this year I had this number of acquisitions, I have this number of books, this number of DVD in my collection, and I have this number of patrons, and this number of active patrons and new patrons, etc. And many, many. The public library statistics is something like 50 or 60 different numbers. Okay? And I have this number of children and this number of adults and men and women, etc., etc. So currently, all libraries have to create the statistics and the reports in their own Koha. You could also think about sharing between different Koha useful information like cataloging framework. Maybe you have tuned your one of your framework to catalogate DVD, for example, and you could share it with another library. Here. So that's the idea of the Mana KB project. We launched the project a little bit less than two years ago now. There is a URL you can try to go to, which is manakb.kohacommunity.org, but there is almost nothing to see. Well, in fact, there are some things, but you must have a login and a password. And for now, there is no available login and password except for the developers. The idea is to build a worldwide knowledge base of resources that are useful for libraries. We made a lot of developments to try to create a first version of ManaKB, and for now we have a way using Mana to share the prediction pattern of printed serials in the serials module. We have a way to share and to retrieve SQL reports, so statistics and reports, and reading pairs. I will explain later what it means. And in the future, we made ManaKB flexible enough to be able to add many, many other, well, any kind of resources that is worldwide relevant. So for example, who knows what is XSLT in Koha? Okay, the same as those who are using serials module, in fact. So XSLT is a way to display, in recent version of Koha, it is a way to display the bibliographic records on the OPAC and on the staff interface. So you can tune the bibliographic record. If you are an academic library that have some specific fields, you can put them where you want, etc., etc. In the future, we could also add some feature to share some system preferences, some setups, etc., that are maybe specific to your library, but not only to your library, but to some others, and you could, with ManaKB, easily share those information. ManaKB is also, well, I hope it is also flexible enough to be able to share resources with that are not specific to Koha. So, for example, e-resource files like cardboard file or ONYX-PL files. A cardboard file describes an electronic resource subscription, and an ONYX-PL file describes the license of an electronic resource. No, here. This is a drawing that was on my laptop yesterday, the one who was blinking very quickly, if you remember. I said, there is something wrong. So I put it here, once again, adding the ManaKB at the bottom. My global strategy, BibLib global strategy in the long term is to build an open source library platform that can manage all needs of a library. So here you see you have Koha, here you have Coral. I will explain tomorrow. Well, sorry, you will have me again tomorrow. I will explain Coral tomorrow. I will make a kind of demo, and it's nice when you laugh because I'm sure you don't sleep. I will do a demo of Coral. So Koha for managing printed collection, Coral for managing electronic subscriptions, Omeka to manage, or DSpace to manage digital repository, Drupal as a portal, and EDS as a discovery layer. And all of this is a global open source library platform. And the idea is to have ManaKB being a kind of base layer that helps libraries to exchange data coming from Koha, Coral, Drupal, Omeka, and maybe other. So how does it work? First of all, you must have Koha 17.11. So if you are not sleeping still, it's not available in Koha now. It is being tested. I hope it will be in the next version of Koha. If someone wants to give a try and test it and sign off the patch, it was you, Eugene, this morning that made an explanation of how to sign off the workflow? No, Andy. This morning he explained he explained the process of adding something into Koha. Okay, so the first step is submitting what we call a patch, then testing and sign off the patch, then quality assurance, then release manager is checking that everything is going well, and it is included. So for now, ManaKB into Koha is in the need sign off stage. So if anyone feel brave enough to try to test it and to validate that it is working, it has to be done. So how does it work? First of all, the idea is there are two parts in ManaKB, the server part and the client part. The client part is what you have into Koha, and what you set up into Koha will interact with the server part of ManaKB, querying and submitting data, etc., etc. Okay? So the first thing you must do is to go into Koha system preferences and say, yes, I want to activate Mana, and there, can you read what is written? It is written Mana token. Yes, you can see it? No, not really. And you have to fill this very small form saying who you are and what is your email. You click send, and okay, so here, I forgot so you enter your first name, your last name, your email, you send, and immediately you will get a token that is the security token that will help ManaKB server to authenticate your Koha requests. Okay? Why do you have to enter your first name, last name, and email? It is because once you click on send, you get a security token, but you also get an email into your mailbox, okay, saying, hello, Mr. Blah blah, you ask for a token on Mana KB, please click here to validate that your email address is a real email address. Without this security check, anyone could create token just by sending a request to the Mana KB API, and he could flood completely the server and kill the server. Okay, so you will have to click on the URL and you will reach Mana KB web side. You will reach a web page on Mana KB server, and you will just have to validate. Yes, it's me. I'm not a robot, so it's a Google CAPTCHA. You submit, and it's done. Your Koha is ready to interact with Mana KB. Okay, so very, very easy. Also note that everything you will retrieve from Mana KB will be anonymous. So Mana KB server will not know that you have consumed any information from the server, but any data you submit to Mana KB, because you will see later that the idea with Mana KB is to share. So you will be able to get, and you are encouraged to put data on Mana KB. So any data you put on Mana KB, we keep track of this data has been submitted by this person, well, this email. So once you have validated your Mana KB token, you can use Mana KB in subscription and SQL reports and reading pairs. I will explain after what is reading pair. So quick creation of a subscription. As almost none of you is using this module, probably you will not be very happy by seeing this, but for the few who are using it, you should like it very much. One thing that is very, very complex, boring, annoying, and source of error and mistakes when you create a subscription is that you have two steps when you create a subscription. First, you say you select the vendor for this subscription. You select the bibliographic record and a few other information, and then you have to explain the planning, the expected planning of issues you will receive. So you will have to say, okay, this subscription is a monthly. I expect to get it every 5th of the month. I subscribe for last 10 minutes. Oh yes, it's okay. I expect to have it for 1 year, and it's every month except in July, etc., etc. And when I receive an issue, it is numbered. For example, volume blah blah, number blah blah, issue blah blah. Okay, and number, volume, issue is changing on every issue, and it is very complex to set it up into Koha correctly. Okay, so the idea is you will click here. In the previous screen, you have selected the bibliographic record. So you have an ISSN, probably, hopefully, and Mana will automatically check, do I know this ISSN on Mana KB server? And if Mana KB server knows the ISSN, you will get a subscription found on Mana KB, quick fill. So you click on the quick fill, and you get a list of submitted subscription information related to this ISSN. You choose the one you want. You click here on use, and that's it. Everything is copied into your local Koha, and your subscription is immediately ready to be validated. Okay? There are some additional. So here you see we get Mana is saying to your Koha, okay, I know this ISSN, here is the title, the publisher, the frequency, numbering pattern, and here you have additional information. First of it being how many users are using this pattern. So if you have, for example, two answers, one used by 1,000 libraries and one used by 2 libraries, maybe the right one is the one used by everyone. And when was it last imported by someone? Okay, so a ManaKB data that has not been used by anyone since 2 or 3 or 4 years, maybe it is irrelevant or it does not work anymore, etc., etc. And we also have added a feature here, report mistake. If you click on report mistake, you can send to ManaKB server, hey, this data is a mistake, it does not work. So either because the frequency, it's not a weekly serial, it's a monthly serial now. So we should discard this entry. We plan to add some way to automatically clean some data at the server level. If there are many people saying this data is wrong, we have prepared some automatic process to eliminate or to hide things. Okay. Of course, I said ManaKB is a way of sharing. Okay, so you get data from Mana, but the idea is also you are encouraged and please submit data to Mana. If you have entered, for example, for a subscription, you have entered an ISSN and you get no result from ManaKB, then you will manually fill all information related to the subscription. And once you have validated it, please click on share and you will get a pop-up saying, okay, do you want to share la recherche, frequency twice per day, numbering pattern, etc. This is an example, and you click on share and you just get, no, oh, sorry, what's happening? Okay, you just click on share and you get a result. Thank you for sharing, and your sharing is added onto Mana and available immediately for anyone else. We also made this for SQL reports. The idea here is, as I said at the beginning, if you have, for example, Filipinian reports to fill, you could upload them with some keywords in the title of the report saying Filipinian Ministry of Culture report for blah blah, and anyone using Koha within the Philippines could search for Filipinian reports and he will get the list. He chooses the one he wants. He gets it on his own Koha, click on run the report and you get the result. And if it does not work, because the SQL report is wrong, you also get the button to say report a mistake. This SQL report does not work. For those who are using a recent version of Koha, you can create group and subgroup for reports, because when you have a long list of reports, it becomes messy to find the one you are looking for. So we can now create group and subgroups. So you will retrieve groups and subgroups from ManaKB. And we already have filled ManaKB with almost all the reports that have been created by the community on the wiki. On the wiki there is a page with 200 something reports for almost anything. So get a list of patrons like this, or statistical split of patrons per age, etc., etc. You get 200 something reports. So we put all of them onto ManaKB, and we also retrieved, I think that's 4,000 subscription patterns, but from our customers, so it's mostly for French publications. So I'm not sure it would be useful for you. But if some of you have French titles, you could find them into Mana already. We also have started to work on a feature that many people are expecting. The feature is people who read this also read that. You know, when you order something from Amazon, I'm sure you have Amazon in the Philippines. Yes. Okay. So you know when you order something to Amazon, you often get emails saying, "Hey, you bought this 2 weeks ago. We suggest you to buy this and that." Or on some screen, you also, or when you are on a book page or any item sold by Amazon, you at the bottom you get, we suggest also you could buy this and that and this and that. Okay? Have you seen this feature on Amazon? The idea here is also to do that. So how do we do that? Each Koha instance will send nightly to ManaKB a list of pairs of someone has read this and that. So it's completely anonymous. We don't strictly nothing. We don't know strictly. We know strictly nothing about who has read those 2 books. We just send to ManaKB someone has read A and B, and we store how many people have read A and B. Okay, so we have people reading A and B, reading A and C, A and D, etc., etc. We store all of them, and we have a feature on Koha that will display on the bibliographic record, okay, on the opaque detail page. We have a suggestion for reading. If you are interested in this book, maybe it could be relevant to look at this and that book. And here, I was supposed to have a screen copy of the result page, but a colleague of mine failed to send it to me yesterday because I wanted to do a demo, but there is something wrong at the moment and my demo does not work anymore. Okay, and we are for this reading pair, we are in a step of beta testing. It means we have chosen 10 of our customers and we have deployed the small script that is every night sending pairs. So that's 10 French public libraries, and we already have collected almost 500,000 of pairs. Okay, so this and that have been written by 10 people. Okay, in this case, it means probably this and that are 2 books that are interesting. Okay. Just for an example, I hope, we will see, but probably people who have read Harry Potter and the Fire Cup will also read Harry Potter and something else. Okay? I know the title in French well, but not necessarily in English. So I said already at the beginning, ManaKB has been written to be easily extensible to any kind of shareable data. So our idea is to have ManaKB used by Koha, but also by another software. Maybe, why not, by Coral to export and import OnyxPL file, for example, or Cabot files. And there is just one risk with the ManaKB project at the moment, but we will address it in the future for sure. For now, we are paying hosting and maintaining the server. And if the project is successful, of course, more and more and more and more library and thousands of library will use it. So the server will require more and more and more power. So maybe we will have some problem to deal with that. But one thing after another, let's first work with it and we will see later. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Paul Polain. The floor is now open for your questions, reactions. I see a hand. Okay, sir.
Hi, Paul. Manny Tamayo from SI Philippines. So my question will be are these reports from Mana server only, or will be available also to the wiki site also? If I submit, if I create an SQL report, if I create an SQL report from
on Mana, will it be on the wiki?
Yes.
You mean? No, no, no. We just manually copied all reports from the wiki into Mana, and we
Okay.
made it once. So if even now, if a report is added on the wiki, it will not be placed into Mana.
Okay.
And of course, if you create a report on Mana, it will not be created on the wiki.
Okay.
What we could do easily, and probably we will do it soon, is to have a way on the manakbkohacommunity.org website to be able to search directly on the web. Okay, so maybe the wiki page we could discard it and just point to the ManaKB web. But that's probably for later.
Albert from EBSCO. MonoKB, is that tightly tied into Koha, or could it work with other systems?
It could, well, some data are tightened to Koha. For example, SQL reports, that's Koha SQL reports. So it's a nonsense to try to copy a SQL report into somewhere else, into another software. But reading pairs, for example, that's something that is completely not tied to Koha. That's a web, if you want to get pairs, well, if you want to send pairs, you just have to call a web service. If you want to retrieve pairs, you just have to send something like an ISBN or an ISSN, and you will get a list of possible associations, and it's up to you to do what you want with them. I haven't added a slide about the copyrights. Our idea is to put the software itself on a GPL license and the data themselves on a Creative Commons license.
Okay. Is it answered, sir?
No, another
No?
question.
Okay.
Yeah, it's okay?
Okay.
Yeah. Another question.
Another question over there?
Hi. My question is, we do use Z39 protocol for harvesting other data. Sorry. I'm Kate from Erie.
Yeah.
Again, we do use Z39 protocol for harvesting data from other libraries. How does it differ from ManaKB?
In fact, Z3950 is already available into Koha, so there is no reason to add this kind of feature. I use this example of sharing bibliographic record because it's something that all libraries are already doing using Z3950. So maybe in the long term we could think of a process to have a centralized catalog into ManaKB where you could get in Z3950 data, but you could also submit data, because for now, if you retrieve a record from the National Library of the Philippines, the National Library gives the records to you. It's not you that, you get the record from the National Library. You cannot put or modify a record on the National Library. So maybe, but that's not a plan we have now. But maybe in the future we will see. But that's the idea of global KB.
Okay. I guess that's it.
No more
If-
question?
No more question? Are there any questions? Okay. So if you have other questions and concerns, you may email them at aslplibrarians@gmail.com, and we will be forwarding it to Mr. Paul Polain for his answers. Again, Mr. Paul Polain, thank you very much. We
Thank
are
you.
very happy to have you here. Thank you very much, sir. Now, we are on the last part of our session for this afternoon. So let's now proceed. The next topic that we will be discussing right now is the how to bring AgroVoc terms into Koha ILS. Again, one of my colleagues in the ASLP, He is now the ASLP Secretary and one of the facilitators in behalf of the On-Strike Library Solutions OSLS in the Philippines. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, Mr. Eugene Jose Espinoza to give us a presentation.
Mataas. Taas kasi ni Paul. Hi, good morning. Good afternoon. Bonjour. Buenos dias. I don't know when the, yeah, good morning. Good afternoon. So, yeah, it has been a hectic schedule for me. Having to prepare for the KohaCon and having to present 30-minute presentation. Before my slides are available, it's okay na. Yeah. I'd like to reiterate a while ago what Gaitan said regarding support. Actually, regarding support, we can actually ask for more experienced developers to develop. Well, Koha is fully featured, right? It's already there. Nandiyan na lahat. We can actually ask if the Filipino librarians have something in mind, although it can be addressed in the Hackfest, but if we have something in mind that it's Filipino-centric, we can actually ask for developers to develop it for us, but that will come at a cost, right? We can, in the United States, some libraries pool resources in order to sponsor developments. Hopefully, in the near future, if really there is a need for some features for Koha for Philippine libraries, we can go that route. So okay na. So I'll be discussing what I've done, was able to do when I was still working with the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations as Library Systems Analyst Consultant from April 2015 to December 2015. I think a few of you only are interested with my topics. I don't know, but right now I'm seeing agricultural libraries like from Ms. Leah de los Reyes who will be interested with my topic. Do we have any agricultural libraries in here? Other from International Rice Research Institute? Do we have? Share, Share mentioned an agricultural library in Pakistan yesterday. So probably, I don't know, they are interested with the data set of the AgroVoc. So, okay na. So, as a backgrounder, the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, David Lubin Memorial Library in Rome, Italy, is using KohaLS for its different library processes. The major modules currently used by the library are the cataloging module, OPAC module, serials management module, authorities module, Cost default and through actually AgroVox search interface customized by PTFS Europe. Patrons module and acquisitions module. Actually, when I was still with them, the Koha version we were using is 3.12.12 and still 3.12.12. And I was tasked to do it in 6 to 8 months, aside from the task of cleaning some data. So a while ago, I said that there was an AgroVoc module that was made by PTFS Europe for FAO UN. And here is the, oh, it's not moving. Sorry. I thought it was moving. So here was the code for that, for the AgroVoc. Uh, wha- you can see in here. So I think some librarians don't want to see these codes, but our developers are interested with the codes. So I'm just showing the codes done, the customization done by PTFS Europe. Yeah, this I think this middle part they did that, add the code, and then there was this service done by PTFS Europe, and here is it. And I think yeah, the librarians are not interested with it, but the developers probably are interested with the uh, module done by PDFS Europe. So how did it work? How with the customization done by PDFS Europe? This was what they did. So there is a small. You can see the hyphen in here. When you click that, or when you click that, you are so you are um, you'll be put there. You will go to the browser will lead you to the agrobook term search. So this is the interface for the agrobook term search. So you put in the text box the what you want to search, like rice. You see in there, rice. I searched for rice, and then I was able to and the agrobook term search module gave me this agrobook terms. So I'm already mentioning agrobook. Maybe some of you is confused. What is agrobook? So agrobook is a controlled vocabulary for for the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations. They produce for their use and for the use of other libraries, agricultural libraries, and even fisheries libraries. So going back to the agrobook term search, um, here are the results term, the search results. And then when I select one of those terms, like this rice, it will lead, you see there's a rice in here with the concept ID, right? A rice with concept ID 6599. And then I can actually delete it again and then search and then click another term, or I can actually move the record to the Koha interface. And when I do that, I am now there is now a $650 a rice. So when I say $650 a rice, that's the subject topical term for rice, right? But there was a problem actually with the agroburk term search that was done, such that when I searched for the abaca term, it gave me this weird thing in here. You see below? The abaca, I actually selected abaca in here after searching abaca, and then I have one result, which is abaca. When I selected it, it actually did not give me the term abaca in here. So what happened here? What will happen here if I move abaca to the record? It will give me a blank text for my Koha, and that was their problem actually. But they I tried to resolve it, but the code was not I did not I was not the creator of the code, and I'm more of, yeah, I did not create the code, so I tried to actually do another way in order to harvest the agrobook terms. So that's what I will present in my next slides. So agrobook is or can be accessed in various ways. Online search and browse, LOD, the the course can be downloaded and are available in RDF and NT format. LOD as LOD available in NT and NQ format. Through web services and SparkQL endpoint. Probably Christina tomorrow will be discussing linked data and what they did in ScanVit. Probably she can discuss further linked data. So this last two, SparkQL endpoint and web services, are all linked data. So I have to, while there, I have to read and read about linked data in order to be able to harvest the agrobook terms. That's why. But the thing is, the terms are actually not available as marked as it's popular as it's popularly available in most libraries. It's only available as a Spark this 6. Yeah, and it's available in the following formats: SCOS, RDF, XML, MySQL, ProtegeDB, OWL, and ISO 2709. So I had to like take a look at those, investigate, and try what I can do in order to be able to get those agrobook terms into Koha. That's basically what I tried to do. So I'll be presenting later in the slides what I did. It's a crude way. If it's a crude way, for me it's a crude way, but it worked for me. It worked for me, and I only revisited this through my documentation because it was like 2 years ago. Uh, yes. So what I did was more of a I there are various tools or software that can be used like Notepad plus plus for regular expressions, and then Mark Edit. So I did not cons- I actually considered RDF XML, but I cannot create a translator XSLT in order to, there was none available so far back then in 2015. Hence I had to I had to while trying to investigate the agrobook terms, bringing the agrobook terms into mark format, I happened to do the SparkQL thing, and I was able to get that this I was able to get the you see this C dash 2624, that is the concept ID number of the agrobook terms. Why did I say so? Because it's cost dash concept. Am I right, Christina? It's cost dash concept. Sorry. So all this cost concept are available to be downloaded as comma separated values. So I downloaded all those cost concept as CSV through the SparkQL endpoint. So to most librarians, I might be talking alien alien language, and here was it. I was able to download those concepts, and I was able to create, or I was able to know that there was a pattern. You see in here, the concepts are when you, the pattern is this HTTP. http://fao.org/aos/agroboc and c/66. So those are the concept, the URL for the concept. So what I did was to download download all the concepts as HTML. As HTML. And here is the HTML of the agrobook term for rice concept ID C underscore 3799. What I did is download them, put them in the list. Here was what I did. Does W get all those what was in the list, and then I merged them. I use regular expression in Notepad++. I clean them so that I can do a translator or an XS, yeah, an XSLT. Some of the regular expressions use mark edit, and then may I ask, are there any librarians here who have used mark edit? I know, yeah, it's a very powerful tool to use in order to clean or your data. So here I was talking a while ago an XSLT or an XML function list. So I did a XML function list or some way of translating the data. Here it is, execute, and then execute, and I get it as mark format. So you will see in here the term, because it's 300, I think, in authorities. 300 authorities preferred term odontodactylus, and then here are the broader concepts, narrower term, and so I have to actually do a mapping, investigate what were the what do you call this? What is broader concept? What is the mark tag for broader concept, other language, etc. And then I compiled it back into mark. And here are the notes I had back then. So, who's working with authorities? Only Manny. Yeah, sir, from BUP. So, yeah, do you recognize any in the authorities? Mark authorities? Yeah, mark authorities. Yeah. So, from the Library of Congress website, so we can deem the following authorities: 550 broader term, $W. So here are the mark fields I was able to use during that time. And so again, who has used importing mark authorities into Koha? Yeah. And I just basically imported okay. I just basically imported those records into the Koha ILS, basically stage and then import, then that was it. Import dispatch into the catalog. That was it. So I still actually have the mark file, but I have not revisited yet my documentation. So probably I think one of our librarians here from Erie might ask me about those records. So yeah, I'll try to look at it, find it, because I wasn't able to upload it anywhere. So I think that's all. I'm I'm kind of like getting blank stares. I, I I hate to actually discuss these things because especially I have an audience of like 100 plus librarians, so I really might get blank stares. But if you have any questions, I'm done with my presentation. Maraming salamat po.
Okay. So are there any questions? The floor is now open for your questions, affirmation, reactions for our last session this afternoon. Okay? Yes. Yes, sir? Yes, ma'am. From Erie. Yes, well.
Leia here from Erie. The topic of agrobook was also recently discussed among with our mother organization
Yeah, Pao.
from Washington D.C.
Opo.
And it was discussed that we should actually use agrobook in the indexing. Unfortunately, most of the libraries among the CG centers do not use the same application. Anyway, my question is, when can we integrate that with our Koha? I mean,
Ma'am, do you want the one I
the
extracted?
agrobook. Yeah.
So that's also
When
2000.
can we enable it? How can we enable it?
I have that. I don't know if I can. Well, I did that thing that I still have the 2015 data sets of that what I did with FAO. So I can I can give it to you and upload it in your Koha LS probably. I'll take a look at it.
Okay.
But regarding integration, it if you know Katarina, I can remember a colleague back then. It was actually asked in the Koha community regarding integration of Koha ILS with Agrovoc and other linked data sources. It's actually linked data is actually under development with I think uh, somewhere in Europe. Can't remember. Maybe um, I think Poland. Right? Am I right, Paul, regarding linked data? There's a development right now in linked data in Poland. Yeah, in Poland, somewhere in Europe, but somewhere in Europe. And there is a development with Bywater Solutions. They're taking a look into linked data because this agrobook thing is in linked data. And then we have tomorrow Christina who will be talking about linked data and what they did with Eliada as their software and how it was integrated with Koha, I think. Yeah. And with regards to FAO Agrobook, since I'm not already with I don't know with the library or the committee or the department which published Agrobook. The the one who published the Agrobook is different from the library actually.
Okay, I'll just keep in touch with one of the OLS people.
Yeah,
for
you,
that, yeah.
you can keep in touch with yeah. Yes.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Are there any questions? Reactions? Okay, ma'am.
Good afternoon, sir. I just want to ask if what version of Mark are you using right now?
Mark Edit or
Yes, sir. Mark Edit.
I think it's 6.x. I think I'm not sure 6.x or 7.x, but I always update.
Because, sir, last time I used Mark Edit 6, and then I think there's some problems.
Uh-huh.
And then as for last time I searched and then I read some comments regarding Mark Edit 6 that there's really a problem with that. So there's already a Mark 7.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure with the version, but what I'm currently using now works for me. I think. Wait, I'll take a look. Probably, but Mark Edit 6. I'm using Mark Edit 6.
6. Okay, sir. So there's no issue regarding, for example, I'm still using the 5.9 and there's no issue if you're still using the old version?
I think you can post some questions in the Mark Edit list.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a Mark Edit list and it's different. Well, it's different from Koha, but we can use these tools in order to be able to easily migrate our data or easily wrangler our data.
Hi, sir. Thank you, sir.
And good luck with your Mark Edit. Okay na. Okay na. Okay na. Okay na. Wala na. So, are there any questions? I have some concerns for the Hackfest this Thursday. So, we have learned that we can actually accommodate up to 150 people and this Thursday for the Hackfest. So those who are still interested in joining us in the Hackfest, you can sign up in our registration area. So we can go up to 150. Right now we have like 660, and then again, I'd like to mention again that there will be two sessions, one for testing the newer version of Koha and one for